when it comes to handling aphids, getting them under control, worm tea and other natural solutions such as beneficial insects are some of the best ways that you can get your aphid outbreak under control. So what I have been doing is using not aphids but ladybugs using ladybugs to help control the aphids, but obviously the ladybugs were not enough to get them under control. So I decided that I was going to use the worm tea on them. But then because I didn't know what effect the worm tea would have on the ladybugs, so I decided not to use worm tea. But then it got out of hand, and so my garden was being decimated by the aphids. So as you recall in the previous video, I decided I was going to remove all of the sweet potatoes so that I could treat the garden for the aphids, and then I can start planting again. So I removed all of the plants that were difficult to reach with the treatment, and mostly the sweet potatoes. And in yesterday's video you saw me using the safer, what is it called, using the safer pesticide or insecticide soap. So I have been using that for a little bit to treat the aphids, and after removing the sweet potatoes it wasn't doing too badly. So then I decided I'm going to be using worm tea as well. And when I was using the insecticide soap, what I do is not only spray the plants, but I also spray the soil, because the aphids can fall off the plants onto the soil. And so I was treating both the plants and the soil as well for the best results. Now I'm going to be making the worm tea, and I'm going to be using that along with the insecticide soap to quickly get the aphids under control. So what we're going to do here, we have 4 gallons of rainwater. We have my homemade fish hydrolysate. Now fish hydrolysate is different from fish emulsion, because the fish emulsion is made from the intestines of the fish, whereas the fish hydrolysate is made from every part of the fish. And then we're going to be using some blackstrap molasses, 1 tablespoon of the molasses, 1 tablespoon of the fish hydrolysate, and then we have 1 gallon of worm castings. And we are going to be not steeping this but aerating it. So you have 2 options. You can steep it, where you just put the worm castings in the liquid and allow it to sit for 24 to 48 hours, or you can aerate it for 24 to 48 hours. Now worm tea does not have a long shelf life. When it is aerated, it has a shelf life of 3 days after you stop aerating. When it is steeped, it has a shelf life of 7 days. So you have the option to decide whether you're going to go with 7 days steeping or 3 days using the aerator. So you can get cheap aerators, for example on Amazon. Get one of those fish tank pumps, and depending on the volume that you of worm tea that you're going to be making at each time, that is going to determine the size pump that you get. So now we're going to add a tablespoon of the blackstrap molasses. We're going to add a tablespoon of the fish hydrolysate. And we are going to be aerating this. I don't want it to be too noisy, so I am just going to turn it down. Now if you want your worm tea that you're aerating to last longer, keep aerating it until you're ready to use it. So if you're making it and you're making a big batch, but you won't get to apply all of that batch within 3 days, keep the aerator going. So we're just going to submerge these 2 hoses. And there, we're going to turn it up. And we're just going to leave that for 24 hours and then it will be ready to go. Now if you want to make this even more potent, you can add compost tea or finished compost to the material that you are, to the worm castings, and aerate that as well. Now if you are not going to use a air pump, or if you are not going to be, if you're going to be steeping and you know you won't be able to use off the material that you're making, just make enough that you know you will be able to come to finish within the shelf life of the product, so that you can get the best result. So we will come back and we will be applying it to the garden tomorrow. Did you enjoy this video? Did you find it informative? Would you like to learn more? If so, why not subscribe to my channel and turn on your notification for more updates. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have yourself a wonderful day. Yeah man, a time for growth.